Welcome to Thursday Thoughts, your weekly dose of real, honest conversation on all things personal growth. These are the chats Lucy and I love having every week over on Instagram. They're unfiltered, unedited, and always rooted in practical tools and a dose of inspiration. Let's dive in. Okay, so this morning, a little earlier than usual, but here it's Monday morning.
Yeah.
We're here hopefully to provide a little bit of motivation in some form or other. So if I start?
Yeah, because this is your idea.
Okay, so we're talking today about breaking the cycle of negativity. This one popped into my mind because recently, if I haven't wanged on it about it enough, I hurt my knee. But I'm so bored of talking about it before Christmas, and it's been really challenging in terms of staying positive about things. So the reason I want to talk about breaking the cycle of negativity, because it is so easy to get into negative spirals. And for me, that has been, it can show up in so many different ways. But so for me, for example, it has been, I've hurt my knee. So I've had to change the way that I exercise, alongside trying to get that all sorted. And actually, I'm having surgery in the next few weeks, which is, anyway, we're getting it sorted. But I've had the biggest shift for me because I'm someone who is really active. I walk my dog most days, every day, twice a day. I love pushing my body to the max, loads of exercise. So suddenly I've had to shift that. I haven't been able to do some of that. So it's been very easy to kind of get into that, like, oh, poor me, negative kind of like feeling sorry for myself. And then because I haven't been able to exercise, I've been feeling a little bit flat. Can I just caveat that I have been exercising? Well, initially I wasn't, but I'll move on to my shifts in a minute. But so then I was thinking I can't exercise. So then immediately I started comfort eating. So I was eating more. So then I obviously was feeling a little bit bigger. My clothes have been feeling a bit tighter. And so quickly, it's amazing how we can get into these negative spirals where it starts off with like, shit, I can't exercise. Poor me, my knee, this is annoying. Then it's like, oh my God, I'm feeling really fat and really disgusting. And now I can't stop eating. And then you start blaming yourself. Oh, why can't I just stop eating? And why can't I do something else? And then you go into more of a shame spiral. And then you're literally, all these thoughts are just fueling this negativity spiral. That, and then it's been kind of like, oh God, you look in the mirror and then you notice every single wrinkle and you notice, and suddenly you get a spot and then it literally is like the end of the world. It's like this whole horrible spiral, which I'm sure everyone can really, truly relate to about everything.
Yeah.
And why I want to talk about this today is because I have been in that spiral. However, it is totally possible to break it. And I think we all need reminding that we have autonomy, we have control over our own lives. And sometimes it's very easy to forget that. And when we can catch ourselves in this negativity, we can start to shift out of this spiral. So firstly, I just want to say that there is something called the emotional, I think it's called the emotional spiral or something, which is a really great image. You can look it up online, where you have like high vibration, brilliant emotions, which we all want, like love, passion, happiness at the top. And then they spiral down into sort of more neutral emotions and then down towards those really, those real negative emotions like anger, hatred, jealousy, and really ultimately it finishes, I think, with powerlessness, where we feel like we haven't got any control over our lives. The reason why I like that spiral so much is because it just shows how easy it is that once you're in a negative spiral, that we can just sort of easily move down, because emotionals go in spirals. They don't go in straight lines. But the good news is, because they can go down in spirals, it means that they can also start to shift back up in spirals. So all we have to try and do, and I say all we have to because it's a practice and it's not as easy as we say, but is to start to notice. It's always awareness, as we always talk about, but start to become aware of our negativity. When we can see it and name it, we immediately kind of create distance from it because we can sort of see it. It's like, oh my God. So I've really had to go, stop wallowing, stop sulking. What's the use in that? There is no point feeling sorry for yourself, because what is that going to do? So it's like literally like catch it. And it's kind of constantly trying to catch it. Oh, there you go again. Isn't that, it's almost like doing it without judgment. It's like, oh my God, look at you, you're doing it again. Stop wallowing. So catching it first is the most powerful thing you can do. Right. I'm in it, I'm in that wallowing again. And then from there, once we've caught it, it's like, right, okay, what can I do? I've noticed it. I've noticed that those thoughts are probably old beliefs, which are sort of, again, which are just me thinking the same thoughts again and again. They're all being fired up. So I've got to shift those. So it's like, I've now got to actually find a way of shifting that. So for me, it is literally like, first you've got to change the energy. You've got to change the energy of that negativity, because once we're in those low vibrations, in that low vibrational energy, we're then attracting as more of that low vibrational energy towards us. Whereas the moment we can start shifting into a higher vibrational energy, we're going to start noticing and feeling more of those high vibrational things. That is energy, as we've talked about before. We are 99.9% energy. So for me, it is literally sometimes about going outside, shaking my body, literally like shaking off the crap, shaking off the negativity, shaking off, breathing, deep breaths, some really good 3 deep breaths sometimes is all I need just to shift out of that. Oh God, change your state. And then for me, what works pretty much most times when I catch it is adding some sort of gratitude. It's like, okay, what can I focus on, which is actually working for me? What can I do? And that has been a complete game changer. Okay, I can actually do shitloads. I can do so much. So let's focus on that. Let's focus on, it has to be believable. We have to believe that we can do it, but that is going to shift our state. And then we can then start very gently to create a better thought. Again, it's just like, okay, I can, just like I can do this rather than I can't. It's just shifting, seeing, and then you start to gently begin to attract more positive energy to you, and things start to gently shift upwards. It's a practice. It's not easy. Sometimes when you're feeling like you are absolutely useless and powerless and you're not in control of your life, but for me, it has really worked. And I really did, I had to commit to myself. It's like, right, no wallowing, no sulking. So every time I've started to wallow, it's like, you can catch it. No, I'm not going to go there. And you have to shift it. So you have to make that decision that you are going to do this work and that you're not going to wallow in it. What can you do? What small shift can you make to help yourself feel slightly better, to think a slightly better thought? So yeah, that's what prompted me for today's topic.
I will only ever recommend brands that I know, love and use myself. And one of those is Ancient and Brave. Honestly, they've become part of my daily habits. The very first thing I do every morning is pour myself a big glass of water with their true hydration in it. It feels like such a simple ritual, but it really sets me up for the day. And I know I'm properly rehydrating with their blend of electrolytes and minerals, especially before I exercise, which I always do in the morning. Then later on, when I make my coffee, I stir in their true collagen powder into the coffee. Now, it blends in straight away, no fuss, there's no taste, and collagen is something we naturally lose as we age, but it's so important for our skin, joints, and overall vitality. Now, I'll be honest, Ancient and Brave may cost a little more than some of the tubs you'll spot on supermarket shelves, but the difference is you're getting the highest quality ingredients, sourced with integrity and tested to a higher standard, and absolutely no nasties added. That's why I trust them and why I think they're worth every penny. And because I want you to be able to try them out for yourself, I've got a special offer for you. As a listener of this podcast, you can get 20% off your very first order, All you need to do is click the link in the show notes and pop in the code POLLYW20 at checkout. They've got more than just collagen and hydration too. They've got creatine, they've got blends, supplements. So it's a perfect chance to explore their range and make the most of that 20% off.
Can I just say, Polly, that, oh my God, love, I feel for you so much, because I know how, particularly for you, this is really fucking hard. Because, as you say, you are someone who exercises every single day. You move your body a lot. It's really important to you. If you were someone who was just like lazy and never got off the couch, you know what I mean? You'd just be like, whatever, just carry on sitting on the couch and blah blah blah. But that's not you. You are the opposite of that. So I just want to really acknowledge how hard this is, Polly, and how I have been impressed when I've seen you show up on Instagram and turn it around and turn it into something positive, because it's not fucking easy. And if I was in your situation as somebody who, look, I'm not you in terms of I can't do 5 bloody pull-ups and I don't run. I do, like, and actually I've been really shit so far in 2026, but I am trying to get back into strength training, and I always go for walks. So you and I, we talked about this multiple times on here, how important movement is for both of us. So I just want to acknowledge how I'm sorry that this has happened, and I think you're coping with it incredibly, actually.
Thanks, love.
You're welcome.
You know what, though? I do think sometimes I'm kind of thinking this is the universe's way of perhaps sending me something, which is, I've got a lesson to learn here. And I do think what
is
I'm
it?
learning from it, well, patience.
Right.
Patience is a massive one, because I'm having to be so patient.
Right.
This isn't going to be a quick fix. It's like, it's taking time. So that massively. And I think for me, it is about slowing down and listening to my body. I talk all about, my whole bloody business is about listening to your body, slowing down, recovery, all of that. And I think for me, I was just not listening to my own advice physically. I just was pushing myself, pushing. And I was ignored. So, I've taken it off now because I don't want to watch my decline. But I used to wear a waistband, and constantly it was very rarely in the green to like go, right, you're recovered, go for it. It was always in the yellow, which meant that I was kind of not really well recovered. I just totally ignored it. I just pushed. And I think what this has really taught me is, you need to listen to your body. You're not 25 anymore. You need to spend time. You do need to slow down. You do need to recover. Yes, push when you're feeling really strong, but also recover. I really think that's what it's taught me, because I've noticed. So go like the 5 pull-ups. I've set myself this challenge to do 10 pull-ups this year, because I was like, right, what little challenge can I do which is not involving my legs, my upper body, and it's amazing when so I have been training. I still go to the gym. I've been doing what I can do, but much more gently, because I've had to. But I've actually been making so much progress, probably more progress than I would, because I'm not so bloody knackered all the time. I just noticed it walking upstairs, although I have to go slowly up the stairs. I used to my legs just used to feel so dead by the time I got done, because I think I was just so exhausted. So I think this is teaching me, okay, you don't have to push so hard all the time. Actually, slow down a bit, recover, listen to your body. So I don't know, that's what I'm taking out of it at the moment. Maybe there's something else, but
it's amazing. I think it's amazing that you're even because look, I know that how and going back to the sort of, the topic of our conversation today, like the negative spiral, like I know how easy it is to allow the negativity to take you down. And in fact, when for anyone who's listening to this rather than watching this, you were doing with your hands like literally like a spiral down and then a spiral up. And it made me think, and this is a really good way of thinking about it, is how when you get particularly into a downward spiral, it made me think of like a drain, like water going down a drain, and how it just starts slower and then it just gets faster and faster and faster, and then it just goes down the fucking drain. And that was the kind of visual that came to me when you were talking about spiraling down. And like you so rightly say, it is so easy to let yourself spiral down into negativity. And boy, do I freaking know that. And I've been thinking, actually, as I've watched you on this particular journey, I've been thinking to myself, Lucy, how would you be coping if this was you? And honestly, my honest answer to that is, I don't think I'd be coping as well as you. I don't think I would be finding the positive as well as you. And it's actually really made me think, and slightly made me sit up and go, oh my gosh. Because it's when something goes really wrong, that is when I think you show who you really are. And that's why I'm so impressed by you. And I'm not sure how I would have coped in this situation. So basically, yes, it is incredibly hard, or incredibly easy rather, to get pulled down that drain. But like you say, it just takes awareness. And actually, one thing I will add is that recently I've been feeling, for reasons I certainly won't talk about on Instagram Live. I'll talk to you about it on the phone. But, things going on behind the scenes, like we all have. It's just life, isn't it? And I've been feeling stuck in 2026 so far, in some ways, hasn't felt that great. I haven't been feeling that great. And it's kind of, what I was going to say is that although I've been very aware of how I'm feeling, because you and I, if nothing else, we have self-awareness, right? But I've been finding it quite difficult to actually take action on that. When I tune into it, when I notice if I'm feeling like, if I'm wallowing, that's such a good way of describing it. And I've noticed that sometimes I've just carried on fucking wallowing, because I've been like, no, I just want to sit here and wallow. And, I want to sit here and eat shit food today and feel really crap and just let it take me down. It's amazing how sometimes we want to feel, we want to wallow in it. It just somehow it feels good. Even though it feels shit, it feels good at the same time. What is that?
I don't know. And I think sometimes you have to allow yourself to wallow. You've got to give yourself some grace and give some, I think sometimes we've got to allow ourselves to wallow a bit and feel that, like, fuck, this is really shit. But obviously, if you carry on wallowing, it's just going to make things 10 times worse.
Totally.
So it is, I think you literally have to make a decision. And that's what I did. You literally have to make a decision. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this shit. I am not wallowing. I literally had to make that decision. I'm not wallowing. I am going to try my hardest. And don't get me wrong, I'm having days where it's like, I'll say it. I'm having a really bad day, everybody. I'm feeling sorry for myself, but I sort of get it out there, and then it's like, right, now I can reset. It's almost like just constantly trying to find yourself opportunities to have a reset, to refresh, and just it is literally a decision you've got to make. I am not doing this, and then it is, for me anyway. What I've noticed, I do have to come back to the gratitude. I constantly think of people who are so much worse off than myself. And so I'm just feeling, God, I'm so lucky. I have a body. I have two legs. Some people don't even have that. And I come back to that. And then it is just about finding something. And it's not that like being toxic in that positivity, but it is finding something which can bring you a little bit of joy. I mean, it's just focusing on what's going right in your life. It really is that shift. And for me, that I can then start shifting that spiral from going down the drain to going up. And you feel more positive feelings. I think you've got to, for me, I have to sometimes voice it. I have to air it.
I do too. I do too.
So I think that's a really important thing, because otherwise I think if you're stuck in your own head, it's harder sometimes to get out of it.
Well, funny enough, just yesterday, because I'm single. I don't have a family like you do, and so. But actually, I literally yesterday, I said my name to myself. I was like, Lucy. And I actually said it out loud to myself, like, for fuck's sake. So you're absolutely right. Sometimes it does help to voice it. It's kind of like stopping that. It's like when you find yourself going down, when you find yourself ruminating, when you find yourself going down that negative road, you need that interrupter. And sometimes just like you say, either going outside and physically shaking it off, or saying to yourself, or you expressing it to your family, or me saying it out loud to me, or my cats. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's why I love exercise and
Well,
movement,
yeah.
because that's such a great way
Yeah.
of shifting out of
Totally.
because then you get your endorphins going,
Yeah.
getting those happy hormones going, which is going to obviously help as well.
Yeah. Well, actually, one thing I was going to say, which isn't, I feel really insensitive saying this to you at the moment, but I know that you can still go for slow walks, right?
Yes.
You can still, yeah.
Yeah, I can slow walk.
Yeah. But so for me, it will always be to go for a walk in nature. And there is never, I think it was Ryan Holiday who said this. I heard him say this ages ago. He said, there is barely anything in life, pretty much nothing, that a walk will not improve, or it certainly won't make it worse. You know, you rarely go for a walk. I rarely go for a walk in nature generally where I do not feel better for doing that. And so that's always where I will start, and that's the way that I kind of shake out my energy and shift my energy. And also, one thing I also wanted to point out is that when you're, if you have a really shit day, for example, as you at the moment more than anyone know, like you're going through something really, really challenging. And if you have a shit day, I think the key, or one of the keys, is to refuse to have another one. Or if you have 2 shit days, refuse to have the third. Do you know what I mean? It's very easy to sort of think, oh, well, I think it's easy to just think, what's the point? When you're feeling really negative, and say you've had a few crappy days, you've been feeling really sorry for yourself, like you've been eating badly and you haven't been exercising, whatever. It's very easy to then go, well, I might just sack the whole thing off. And I think that is something, I think it's really important to just be mindful of that and go, no. It doesn't matter that for a week I've been, wallowing in this self-pity and this negativity. It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that I should sack the whole thing off. I can come back from this. And that's something I've been saying to myself a lot recently. It's like, okay, so I've had a couple of bad days. So, blah, 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 blah. But that doesn't mean I can't pull it back. I don't have to continue going down this road. I think sometimes it just feels really easy. As humans, we talked about this before, as humans, we find it so much easier to just automatically go to the negative. For some reason, it's just the easy way to go. It just feels much more comfortable. In some ways, it feels much easier. It feels much more automatic to just immediately slide into the negative. So we have to make more of an effort to lift ourselves and start that upward spiral. But going back to the energetics of this, one thing I say in Cock-a-doodle-oo, my morning routine club, pretty much every morning, is reminding the women in there that what we are putting out in terms of our energy is what we're drawing back. And in fact, the way that I was talking to them about it this morning in Cock-a-doodle-oo is saying how I was asking them, what signal are you putting out to the universe? And more specifically, what instruction are you giving the universe? I think that's quite a cool way of thinking about it. It's like, if you think about the way that you're feeling and what you're focusing on, that is the instruction that you are giving to the universe of, this is what I want more of. So if I'm feeling really shit and I'm just like feeling really sorry for myself, I am signaling to the universe, I am putting that energy out into this source energy that we are swimming in. I'm putting that out, and it is going, okay, here you go. Here's some more of that. There you go. So what order are you putting? What instruction are you putting out to the universe? That's kind of a really good way of thinking about it, I think. And we have to remember that, you and I have talked about this so much, and it's something that I think about every single day. And even on the days where I'm feeling down, I still, because as you and I have talked about this so much, because I'm so used to bringing awareness to where I am in my head, even when I'm feeling really low, really negative, I will always go, Lucy, what, where are you at? What are you doing? Pull it back. And again, it does always come back to awareness, but we've got to remember there are no two ways about it, whether you believe in this stuff or not. It's not a question of believing it. It is the way it is. We are energetic beings. And what we're putting out is what we are attracting back into our lives. It's simply the way that it works. And I'm sure there are some people rolling their eyes going, well, that's a load of bollocks. Well, it's not. It's actually science. It's actually not bollocks. It's just the way that it is. We are energetic beings more than anything else. And the vibrational frequency that we are putting out, that whatever is our dominant vibration, in other words, the way that we are feeling most of the time, I find this is the best way to describe it for me anyway. The way that we are feeling most of the time, our dominant vibration, that is what we're bringing back into our lives. That is what we're attracting back into our lives. It looks like you're reading a message, babe. You're concentrating.
No, I wasn't. I was thinking about what you were just saying, because I was going to then put that in the caption because I like that.
Oh, I see.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought someone had written. I thought because you started this live, I can't see the messages.
I always forget that you can't. No, we haven't.
Yeah, so I can't see who's joined and I can't see any messages. It's so weird the way that it does that. But
no, yeah. I love that, Lucy. Because it's true, and I don't think we need to. I mean, the danger though sometimes is to panic. Oh my God, I'm feeling really negative and I can't get out of being negative. So I'm sending all these negative vibrations out into the universe, and then you start worrying about that, and it actually makes you feel a little bit like So I don't think we need to worry about that. I think it's just having that awareness that it's the majority of the time. We can't obviously be rainbows and unicorns all the time. It's not, there's always going to be light and shade in life, always. But what we all have is the opportunity to reset, to restart again. Every day, every new week, every moment, literally every moment we have an opportunity. Right, we can get to restart and reset. I was funny enough in my morning in a space session this morning. That's exactly what we were talking about. We did. It's like every, and I love doing it at the beginning of a new week, particularly. It's like, right, leave behind this crap from last week, which you don't want to bring into this week. This is an opportunity to restart, reset what you want to do, reset who you want to be, what is going to make this week a truly great week. Let's focus on that and become and be that person who is with that energy and bring that into this week. So for those of us who are struggling sometimes with negative thoughts and feelings, just know that it's not set. Doesn't need to define you. You can change it. It does take a little bit of work. It does take awareness. It does take practice, but it's absolutely possible to start shifting yourself back up that spiral. I really recommend go and have a look on Google, look up the emotional spiral, because it just gives you a really lovely visual.
Is it the same thing as? Is it the same thing as the what's it called? The scale of
I think it probably is the scale of all the different emotions. But I've actually seen an actual visual of a spiral, which I just like because it kind of really helps me to visualize how the emotions move.
Yeah. So it's called the emotion. Did you say it's called the emotional
spiral? I think.
Okay,
but it just shows you how easy it is to go down, but then equally how easy it is
to go
up when you just make a little shift.
Yeah, I love that.
Is just useful for everyone just to remember when you're feeling negative. Sometimes we need to feel those feelings. We always need to feel the feelings, but it's getting stuck in them, which we don't want. We want to feel them and then move on. Most emotions, there was some researcher who discovered that emotions generally, obviously there are some deeper, heavier emotions like grief, which obviously need to be worked through, but a majority of emotions take 90 seconds to move through the body.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this. So yeah, sorry, love, carry on. But it was so weird because I was literally just thinking about this exact thing.
Most emotion, well, I can't remember the name of the lady, the woman who found this out. But so when you're feeling an emotion, if
it only lasts.
Emotion to kind of ride through you, it lasts 90 seconds.
Yeah.
Why they often tend to hang around and linger is because of the stories and the meaning,
the thinking
that we give to those emotions.
And thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which keeps us in it.
Yeah.
So if we can detach from the thinking and we just feel the emotion and let it ride through us without giving it all the thinking and the stories and the meaning, then we're going to move through it much quicker.
I'm so glad you brought that up because it's so interesting to think about that when you say an emotion generally lasts about 90 seconds. So it's because I think it's just a brilliant, brilliant way of thinking about it, because then you can feel like, okay, well, I'm feeling anger. I feel the anger rising up in me. Well, actually, it's gone in a minute and a half. Am I going to keep thinking about it it's like you are maintaining that feeling within yourself, because if you just let it go and you didn't hang on to it, then it would just go. So are you, and again, it's all relative, isn't it? It depends what you're going through, and obviously it's not necessarily always that easy, but it's definitely such an interesting thing to think about. I quite like starting at 8:30, by the way.
Yes,
I just got a reminder at 9. I have the same reminder it's one of my positive affirmations that I get every day at 9:00 that popped in. So I thought, oh yeah, well normally we start now, but we're finishing now. I quite like that.
I like doing it at 8:30 as well. Actually,
should we do it at 8:30?
In my current. Yeah, because I do my the inner space at 7:30 to 8. Gives me half an hour, and then to do this. So I'm very happy.
Should we do it?
At the moment, whilst I'm in my current season, it would work for me very well.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, let's do that. Because I think, because it's just better to get it no offense, but get it out of the way earlier. I just mean, I mean that in the nicest possible way for both of us. It's just like, exactly. Well, if we do it earlier, then we can get on, carry on with the rest of our days earlier rather than. And also sometimes if I have an interview or something for the podcast straight after it, sometimes if we finish at 9:30, say I've got an interview at 10, it sometimes feels a bit rushed.
Yes.
And do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Groovy.
All right,
babe. I'll speak to you soon.
Take care.
You too. Lots of love.
Bye.
Bye, babe. Bye.